Greetings adventurers, this is Lorne, your guild advisor, and with the second half of DanMachi Season 4 starting up this winter season, we are also going right back into my Cuts and Changes video series where I compare the anime adaptation with the original source material of the light novel. I'll be filling you in on any skip content in addition to providing you with extra context in order to boost your understanding of the series. Episode 11 of the first half of Season 4 left us with the situation growing dire for Ryu and Bell, as well as the Hestia Familia expedition party. Ryu and Bell are both stranded on floor 37 after surviving an encounter with the Juggernaut, and falling down 10 whole floors while inside the body of the Lambton. They're now both exhausted and battered with no supplies, and are still being hunted by the Juggernaut. Meanwhile, the expedition crew is standing face to face with the monster Rex of the water capital, an amphispina that spawned 2 weeks early. Our cast of characters are about to face a challenge against despair itself in the second half of Season 4, fittingly called the Calamity Arc. Episode 12 starts off with Bell recalling a conversation he had with Eyes during one of their training sessions where she talks about the deep floors. This is actually a flashback that happens a third of the way into Volume 14, which this episode just started adapting. Bell and Ryu actually don't start getting scenes in the novel until that point, so I believe the anime is trying to sprinkle in scenes with the two of them for pacing purposes. This is probably the correct decision, as it would be awkward to not see Bell or Ryu for almost 3 episodes after the cliffhanger of the mid-season finale. Going back to the amphispina, the anime does a good job of displaying the intensity of its blue napalm flames, by showing how the flames instantly evaporate the moisture from the rocky surroundings. Something not shown in the anime is Aisha noticing the adventurers that Boris posted along the entrances between floors running away rather than making an attempt to help the Hestia Familia party escape. They were on their own. The way back up to the top of floor 25 was caved in due to the explosions of the blaze rock set off by Jura's henchmen, so the group's only option was to retreat by going down into floor 26. As they end up running away from the two-headed dragon's flames, Oka ends up shielding Haruhime, who trips. In the light novel, Oka was originally protecting Daphne and Cassandra, because Cassandra was panicking due to her prophecy, and Daphne could not get her to move in time. Then, just like in the anime, the roots from the Colossal Tree Labyrinth started to fall. The Colossal Tree Labyrinth is the name of the section of floors directly above the water capital area of the dungeon. The falling roots originate from floor 24 and are collapsing due to the damage done to the ceiling of floor 25 caused by the blaze rock explosions. The roots end up becoming a cage of despair, preventing the party from retreating down into floor 26. Their only option was to fight. During the conversation between Uranos and Fells, Fells mentions that in normal circumstances, the Juggernaut was not supposed to move from where it spawned. After all, the dungeon spawns a Juggernaut in order to take out a threat on a specific floor, in this case the water capital area comprising of floors 25 to 27. However, due to Jura's final command, the Juggernaut was able to follow Bell and Ryu to the White Palace area on floor 37. Due to the Juggernaut's departure, the dungeon spawned the amphispina 2 weeks early in response. When Fells says it will take too long to get reinforcements through the proper channels, they mean that it will be difficult for the Xenos, who are currently invading Gnosis alongside Loki Familia, to find an opportunity to dedicate forces to help Hestia Familia in a timely manner. Nevertheless, Uranos says they will do what they can. We are then taken back to floor 37 with Bell and Ryu, as Bell struggles to stay calm and think straight. The bones in his left arm are basically shattered and held together by being wrapped up in the Goliath scarf. Both he and Ryu are in no condition to fight. Unfortunately, in a scene that happens later on in the episode, his worst fears come to life, as the Juggernaut spots them with no chance of anyone helping them. Both the Bell and Ryu duo and the expedition party have only themselves to rely on. Going back to the expedition group, Aisha makes up her mind and readies herself to fight against the floor boss, but notices that morale is incredibly low. They've gone through irregular after irregular, and this was the greatest of them all. Plus, they did not have their pillar of support in Bell. Thankfully, Just as a smith brings fire to weapons, Wealth was able to spark a fire in their spirits. If they could not make it through the situation without Bell, then it would mean that they're only holding Bell back. They needed to prove that they could stand alongside him. Thankfully, Aisha does have experience with fighting against the Amphispina, but unfortunately, this small group of 9 adventurers was very different from her usual circumstances. When in Hestia Familia, Aisha fought the Amphispina with around 20 members of the Berbera Amazon warriors, filled with level 3s alongside their level 5 captain, Pern. Aisha uses her magic Helkaios on the dragon, only for it to be nullified by the red mist released by the red head of the monster. Between the blue flames and the red mist, the floor boss has both an exceptional weapon and shield. When the fight begins, you can see Haruhime already starting to cast Kokonoe and level boost, without clear instruction. This is because she too was involved in Hestia Familia expeditions into the dungeon, and is already accustomed to the concept of immediately making use of her level boost magic. Unfortunately, she can only manage 4 level boosts at a time, so Chigusa cannot immediately receive one at the start of the fight. Haruhime learned about her limits in the fight against the Moss Huge, where she suffered a mind down, leaving her to become dead weight after granting level boost. Now with the understanding of her limitations, she can drink a magic potion to recover and start a new level boost for Chigusa. The magic that you see Daphne use is called Ramure, and temporarily improves her defense and agility on top of the level boost she already received. The scene changes to the Hostess of Fertility Tavern, where the anime finally reveals the nature of Lily's message to Hestia. They wanted reinforcements to help with Ryu's situation. Cut from this scene is Seer running out to the tavern to seemingly look for Ryu, after Ryu's personal mug falls and breaks like a bad omen. This is when the 3 remaining waitresses, Renoa, Chloe, and Anya, notice Hestia coming inside. Hestia also asked them if they were as strong as Ryu in the novel, whereas in the anime, she already seems to know that they will be helpful as she asked them if they'll be part of the reinforcements. One cool detail is how they show the normally aloof Anya subtly making a very serious face, a sign that there's more to her than meets the eye. If you're unfamiliar with these waitresses, you can learn more about them in one of my recent videos. The anime seems to have skipped the recruitment of another individual, but I will hold off on showing who that is in case they are simply reordering events. Going back to the Amphispina fight, there's a cut scene from the novel where Mikito was a bit too late for moving away from the heads of the dragon, and Daphne comes in to save her. Afterwards is when the Amphispina dives underwater and creates that tsunami like you see in the anime. Normally, this floor boss is classified as having level 5 strength, but when it has access to water, its traversal ability places it around the level 6 category. This is when Lily starts to panic and feel as if she's losing control of the situation. Fortunately, Daphne is able to calm Lily down and entrust the fate of the party to her instructions. I feel as if Daphne is an underrated character overall, but her value is showcased throughout the episode in how she was able to bring both Lily and Cassandra back to their senses. Lily puts her tactical mind to use and orders Mikito to start casting her gravity magic. When the floor boss dives back underwater, Lily orders Mikito to make use of her Yatsuno Black Crow skill in order to detect the monster's location. Oddly enough in the anime, Mikito shouts out the location, which is different from the novel, where she points out the location with her finger. The reason for this is because she is supposed to be currently chanting her gravity magic, and disrupting that chant with calling out a location should have disrupted that magic. Regardless, the gravity spell drops roots directly on top of the floor boss, temporarily stunning it and allowing the party to get in some free hits. When the dragon recovers, it calls forth monsters to attack the party, and originally, the group is supposed to split so that Daphne and Aisha distract the boss, while the rest of the party quickly takes care of the ads. In the midst of this, Cassandra is having a breakdown, consumed by the despair brought about by the knowledge of her prophecy. No matter what she does, it seems as if the prophecy is becoming true, and none of her efforts are making a difference. Ironically, she might feel differently if she was there to see that the Goliath scarf she had made for Bell saved his life from the Juggernaut's claws of destruction. In any case, once again, Daphne is able to smack some sense, literally, into another party member and spur them into action. The anime leaves off with Cassandra reporting for duty and Lily mentioning that their group does not stand a chance without their 2 healers. I'm wondering if there's a mistranslation here with the subtitles because Haruhime is not a healer as she does not possess healing magic. In the light novel, Lily simply states that they cannot win without the 2 of them, and so the episode ends with everyone in the party fully committed to a seemingly impossible task, but that's why they're adventurers. In terms of the overall episode, I enjoyed it as a return to Season 4 and was impressed by the CGI, the dragon. I won't say it's mind-blowing CG, but there are noticeable improvements from the first time we saw the dragon at the end of episode 11. It seems they are doing what they can to blend the visuals of the dragon so it matches the traditional hand-drawn art style of the show. I think sprinkling in a few early scenes of Bell and Ryu was a good call, because I'm sure many anime viewers were wanting to see them after the cliffhanger of episode 11, though in the end we possibly just got an even more intense cliffhanger with the Juggernaut. In general, I like the songs used in the new OP and ED, though I will admit that despite liking the Hestia Familia imagery in the OP visuals, I felt as if the overall animation wasn't as dynamic as I would have liked, but I will discuss my impressions on both the OP and ED in a separate video. Just like the first half of Season 4, the DanMachi mobile game, danmemo, is releasing weekly side stories to coincide with the episode releases. This week is an extension of the flashback you see with Bell and Eyes in the anime. I'll also provide a link in the description of this video if you'd rather watch this through a video. In any case, we're off to a strong action-packed start in the second half of DanMachi Season 4, and there will definitely be even more exciting scenes to come, especially when we enter the Bell and Ryu side of the story. All the while, I will be continuing to make these weekly cut content videos, so make sure to stick around each week. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more DanMachi content, and to follow me on my socials. This is Lorne, your guild advisor, signing out.